So the Chargers selected Omarion Hampton, a running back from the University of North Carolina, on their first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Yeah, that's not what most people were expecting. Not with all the pre-draft talk around trenches, and not with multiple offensive and defensive linemen still on the board. This pick caught some off guard, but when you look at the decision through the lens of what Jim Harbaugh is building, it makes a lot more sense. So let's break this down properly. Why this pick happened, what it says about the Chargers' direction, what Hampton brings to the table, and what this means for the offense moving forward. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. Hey, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. But first, we have to talk about what happened before the pick was made. Because what unfolded in the 10 minutes the Chargers were on the clock had ripple effects that reached not only the Chargers, but their division rivals as well. The Chargers were officially on the clock, and the countdown began. And then, silence. Nearly 10 minutes passed without a pick being announced. That was the longest delay of the entire first round. It wasn't an indecision, it was negotiation. NFL insider Ian Rappaport confirmed what many suspected. The Philadelphia Eagles were deep in trade talks with the Chargers to move up to number 1, 22. Their target was Jihad Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama. The Eagles ultimately got their man at number 31, but it nearly happened 8 picks earlier. Now, let's talk cost. Had the Eagles moved up to 22, the Chargers likely would have received a third-round pick, a valuable chip for a team retooling under a new regime. But for one reason or another, the trade never materialized. Either the Eagles weren't willing to meet the Chargers' asking price, or the Chargers got cold feet about potentially losing out on Omarion Hampton. And by standing pat, the Chargers didn't just impact themselves, they inadvertently helped the Kansas City Chiefs. After failing to trade with the Chargers, the Eagles worked out a deal with Kansas City, moving up from 32 to 31 and giving the Chiefs a free 5th-round pick to do it. The Chiefs still got their guy, offensive lineman Josh Simmons, and picked up bonus draft capital in the process. That extra pick? It should have gone to Los Angeles. So not only did the Chargers pass on extra draft capital, but they also created a scenario where their top division rival got rewarded for doing nothing. That's not ideal. But let's get to the guy they did take. Omarion Hampton is a 5'11", 221-pound running back out of North Carolina. He's a bruiser. He's a downhill runner. He's physical, compact, and durable. At the NFL Combine, he clocked a 4.4640 at 221 pounds. That's not normal. That's elite speed at that size. His production in college backs it up. He was consistently the focal point of UNC's offense and handled volume without showing signs of wear. He's a back that finishes runs, pushes piles, and stays upright through contact. On film, you see him absorb hits, bounce off arm tackles, and punish second-level defenders. But what makes him more than just another big-bodied back is the long speed. Once he breaks through the line, he can go the distance. And not just in a straight line, he runs angry and he finishes with intent. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room. This pick wasn't expected. Leading up to the draft, nearly every mock had the Chargers going with either an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman at 22. That made sense. Jim Harbaugh wants to control the line of scrimmage, and this draft class had depth at both positions. The trenches seemed like obvious play, but instead they went with a running back, a position some consider devalued in the first round. And they did it while already having Najee Harris on the roster. So, what gives? This pick tells you a lot about how Jim Harbaugh wants to build this team. This isn't a thunder and lightning combo. This is thunder and more thunder. Najee Harris already brings a powerful physical style. Now add Hampton, and you've got 2 backs who can wear a defense down over 4 quarters. This is straight out of the Harbaugh playbook. Run the ball, control the clock, dominate time of possession, and set the tone physically. It's not about speed and finesse, it's about attrition, body blows. Jim Harbaugh isn't building a track team, he's building a bully. And when you pair Hampton with Najee, you now have the foundation for one of the most physically imposing backfields in the AFC. This is the first real glimpse of the new Chargers identity. Under Brandon Staley, the Chargers were a finesse team. Under Harbaugh, that era is over. This is going to be a run-heavy offense. Play action, smashmouth football, ball control, and honestly, it's a welcome change. This pick is all about commitment to that vision. You don't take a running back in the first round unless you plan to use him heavily. Jim Harbaugh didn't come to LA to air it out 50 times a game. He came to instill structure. He came to control games with tempo and toughness. Hampton fits that identity perfectly. Now, everyone this year talked about Ashton Jeanty as RB1. And fair enough, he's special. But Hampton is the only other back in this class who belongs in the same tier. This is not some massive drop-off. You can argue that Hampton is the better fit in a gap-heavy power run scheme like Harbaugh's. If Jeanty is Alvin Kamara-type versatile, Hampton is more Nick Chubb, violent, efficient, and durable. He's the guy who gets stronger as the game goes on. And in this offense, that's going to matter. You don't need flashy, you need to be consistent. Let's quickly touch on fantasy. If you're in a dynasty league, get Hampton now. This is a run-first offense. There's no RBBC here. He and Harris will split early, but it wouldn't surprise me if Hampton takes over by midseason or at least handles the red zone touches. He's a touchdown machine waiting to happen. He's got RB2 upside as a rookie, with RB1 potential if injuries or usage shift in his favor. If Harbaugh wants to pound the rock, and all signs say he does, Hampton is going to eat. Now, here's the downside. Kamani Vidal. He was last year's 6th-round pick, and there was real excitement about him as a sleeper back. Tough runner, low center of gravity, good balance. But that path is now effectively closed. With Harris and now Hampton on the depth chart, Vidal is buried. Special teams is probably his only role now. It's a harsh reality, but that's the NFL. You're always one draft pick away from being replaced. And with Hampton in town, the Chargers are no longer in need of backfield depth. They're building a feature-heavy power run game. Vidal simply doesn't fit in the plan anymore. Let's step back and look at the division. The AFC West is a gauntlet. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix. Even the Raiders are building something physical under Pete Carroll now. The division is loaded at quarterback, wide receiver, and running back. But while everyone else is trying to outscore each other, the Chargers are zagging. This isn't a finesse team anymore. They want to control the pace. Keep Mahomes off the field, grind out 14-play drives, kill the clock, wear down defenses. That's the formula, and it works. Just look at what the 49ers and Eagles have done in recent years. If you can run the ball and stop the run, you can beat anybody. That's what this pick is about. Identity. Now the question becomes, what happens in the next rounds? If you go running back at 22, you better address the trenches on day 2. The need hasn't gone away. They still need a DT. They still need depth at guard and possibly tackle. But what this does is anchor the offense. The Chargers now know how they're going to move the ball. There's clarity, there's vision, and for the first time in a long time, this offense has an identity you can feel. So my final thoughts are Omarion Hampton wasn't the pick most of us predicted, but he's the pick that signals a real shift. This is no longer a Chargers team built around finesse and flash. This is a team ready to run through your chest for 4 quarters. Hampton gives them that. He's going to be used, he's going to be featured, and he's going to matter. This is the kind of player that changes how defenses prepare for you. You can't play soft boxes anymore. You can't assume you'll get off the field on 3rd and 2. You can't ignore the run, and that opens everything up for Herbert, for play action, for the vertical game when you need it. This is what a foundation piece looks like in a Jim Harbaugh offense. Omarion Hampton, RB1 of the future, and maybe the face of a brand new Chargers identity. So what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section.